Welcome. My name is Pete Canavan, and you are about to see a short preview that will introduce you to two videos featuring specific laws to live by. You may be familiar with the law of attraction, but when we break it down and look more deeply into it, there are many other laws that deserve additional attention, such as the law of emotion, the law of blame, the law of fear, and others. This can really help you get to the next level in your life, your income, your relationships, and even your health. This is a very comprehensive training that can stand by itself, but can produce even better results when used in conjunction with an understanding of the law of attraction. Sign up for your free account at bestsuccesstraining.com today to learn more.
Okay, next we're going to talk a little bit about the law of expectation. Okay, now what we expect of ourselves, good or bad, is going to become our own reality. Okay, high expectation, low expectation, whatever we expect, most likely it will become our truth. So this can be either a very dangerous adversary or it can be a very powerful ally. So if we must expect the best, not the worst. We have to expect success, not failure. We have to expect that we're going to make sales, not that we're going to be rejected for making sales. We got to expect love, not loneliness. We've got to expect health, not sickness, etc. So you have to make sure that you're expecting the best of yourself in every area of your life and not doubt that it's going to happen, not expect the bad things to happen. Okay? Now, the law of expectation is similar to the law of belief in that both require us to think that a certain result is inevitable, even if we see that there is no way for it to come to fruition. Okay? If you struggle with believing before achieving, you will most likely also struggle with expecting results before they occur, because both are based on a similar concept. Now, where the law of expectation differs is in how you approach your daily actions and your goals. You simply must expect things to go well, that you will make that sale, that you will find the love of your life, that you will find your dream house, etc. Okay? Expecting to achieve, to find, to produce, or to create the things in life that we want is one of the very first steps to getting them. Okay? If we expect things to be difficult and can't see how something is possible, it's going to be that much harder to get them because we are shutting out potential from entering our lives. And when we shut out the potential, again, it's like we're putting up that roadblock. We're putting up that wall in front of us to our success or to our achieving that goal. Much like doubt. Doubt does the same thing. So you must expect that your desired results will be achieved if you want to have any hope of getting them. Okay, we'll move on to the next law, the law of thinking. Well, law of thinking, well, it's kind of obvious. We all have to think, right? Well, sure, it's a creative function of life that we do every minute of every single day. We cannot stop our thoughts. They are always there. The thought process from one second to the next is always doing something, whether it's, scratching your head or writing your name or reading a book or typing on a keyboard. I mean, every single aspect of our lives, except maybe when you're sleeping, and even then your brain's doing stuff, involves thought. The reason why this is so important is that although we cannot stop the thought process, what we can do is control our thoughts and control and regulate the quality of our thoughts, okay? Because the quality of our thoughts is huge. If you find yourself getting negative thoughts in there, you've got to be able to go back and erase them with more positive thoughts to keep you in a better frame of mind, okay? Nothing's going to be able to change in our life, in our physical world, in a physical sense, until we change our thoughts. Everything begins in the brain. It begins with an idea. It begins in the mind. It begins with thought. Doesn't matter what it was. It could be an airplane. It could be a car. It could be a computer. Every single thing. It could be the chair you're sitting on. It started as a thought in somebody's head. And then they drew it out. They wrote it down, put it on a piece of paper, and started to figure out how to make it. And chances are the first time it was designed and built, it didn't work. I don't care what it was. So you go back to the drawing board. You learn from it. You make revisions, etc. So everything begins in our brains with a thought. So we have to pay very close attention to our thoughts. Now, as I said, everybody's going to have thoughts that are not always entirely positive. You will have negative thoughts. But what we need to be able to do is to replace those negative thoughts as quickly as possible with positive ones. The third law, very, very powerful law, is the law of emotion. Why is it a powerful law? Well, when you give attention to things with emotion, and again, this also goes back to the law of attraction, but when you give attention to things with emotion, the results are going to come about more quickly. Those results can be good, they can be bad. Depends on what sort of emotion you're giving them, right? So you have to be careful because our emotions are literally going to supercharge our thoughts. And the results that we are focusing on are going to come about more quickly when we focus on them with intense emotion. Most people don't understand this, or they fail to believe it when they're presented with this truth. Because it's a simple fact that the more emotion you use when you focus on anything is going to bring about what you're focusing on to you much more quickly than if you did not use any emotion in your efforts. So we have to understand that emotions are a very powerful ally and a tool that we can use to help us our goals and our dreams more quickly than if we did not. Now, our emotions also act as a kind of a guidance system in our lives. Okay, and everybody has had experiences where something just felt right. Okay, we've also had experiences where something just felt wrong, or maybe you've had a gut feeling about something. But in almost every case, those feelings you've had where something's felt right or wrong, or you've had a gut feeling one way or another, those feelings end up being right. So how can that be? I mean, is it just coincidence? No. If something feels good, chances are it is the right choice. And if something feels bad, chances are it's the wrong choice. Law of concentration is the next one we're going to talk about here tonight. And the law of concentration basically says that, what we concentrate on is going to be brought about. It will be manifested. We will manifest this, okay? Regardless, again, of if it is a good or bad outcome, okay? Now, one thing that we can do is to be in the now. And there's a great book by Edgar Tolle called The Power of Now that is an excellent resource that really, gets into this concept and delves into it much more deeply. But the bottom line with this concept is that if we must not let our minds wander when we're working on something or we're talking to somebody, but rather focus on the task at hand, focus on the person at hand, give our full undivided attention to them. Okay? Those of you who are married, you know that your spouse can tell when you've zoned out. And it's not a pleasant experience. You usually get into a fight, right? You have to be there. You have to be there in the moment. You have to be there in the now and focus and concentrate on things. Now, most people never really concentrate on what they want. I think we could all probably agree on that. Okay? Most people wish for what they want. Oh, I wish I had $1 million, Or they hope, oh, I hope I win the lottery, right? But they never really direct their mental energies and their focus on their goals and their vision for what they want their future to look like. Because without a clear picture of what you want out of this life, you're simply like that ship without a trained crew and no tools to help you get where you're trying to go. You'll flounder around aimlessly and not be able to get anywhere, right? It is vitally important that we focus just a few minutes, not a whole lot of time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you can do, a few minutes every day to focus and really concentrate on your vision for your future. Now, the law of cause and effect is a very basic law, okay? And it's one that's very easy to understand for most people. Now, simply put, if a certain thing or certain cause occurs, it's going to produce a certain result. And it's going to do so consistently time after time after time. The example I gave a couple weeks ago still is relevant here, obviously, and certain causes are going to result in certain effects, just the way it is, and the funny example I use, take it from my own life because it's happened here with my cat, is if you lock that cat in a room, you don't let him out before he's got to go to the bathroom, guess what he's going to do? He's going to do his business on the carpet. Nothing you can do about it. Law of cause and effect. Got to go, can't get to where he's got to go, he's going to go wherever he is, right? Nothing you can do about it. Well, in order for us to be successful, what we have to do is we have to learn what causes produce the effects that we are looking for. But we must also be equally vigilant about knowing what causes produce the effects that we are not looking for. Just like, Isaac Newton, his law of motion states that for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Well, we too have to know that for every cause, there is an effect. Of course, it can be a good or a bad effect or result that's produced. We have to strive, though, to understand that, certain choices we make and certain behaviors that we do will end up having a certain effect as a result. A good example of this is of how a law produces a result can be found in nature all over the place. If you plant an apple seed, that's the cause. What's the effect? You get an apple tree, right? The next law we're going to talk about is the law of belief. Again, super powerful law, because what you believe is real to you is going to be something that you will believe, and it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. Now, certain beliefs make us who we are, and we have to remember that there is always another way of looking at anything. Okay, and I'm going to give you an example in a minute of that. Now, it doesn't matter, as I said, if something is true or not. If you believe it's true, then the feelings and the emotions that you are associating with it are going to be the same. Now, belief and faith go hand in hand, in my opinion, because if you're a religious person, you know that faith is a cornerstone upon which religion is built, regardless of what your religion is or your denomination there. No religion can prove the existence of a God, their God, a supreme being, etc., nor can they prove the existence of any sort of afterlife that may be described or promised to them in their religious beliefs. Okay? All they know is that upon leaving this earthly plane, they are told to believe, we are told to believe something. Okay? So, therefore, all religion is largely dependent upon belief in something without being able to prove it. So, those people who are maybe more religious than others might have an easier time with this, in believing something before it happens or feeling as if something has occurred prior to it happening. Not to say that you can't if you're not a religious person. I'm just trying to kind of draw a parallel there between the two because I think they're very similar. In other areas of our lives, we too have to, we must believe something before it happens. Now, if we are to harness the power of the law of attraction, the law of belief is a law that we have to make our own. It doesn't matter if it's belief that we're going to achieve a certain level of income, or that we have the ability to move into a new home, or purchase a new vehicle, or find a soulmate. It doesn't matter. If we don't believe these things are possible, more likely than not, they will never come to pass because we doubt that it'll occur. And remember, doubt is your number one enemy. The next law, the law of supply. Well, what's that, the law of supply? Well, one of the things that we have to realize is that there is infinite supply. Infinite. It's not that there's not enough for everybody. We have to realize that there is more than enough of anything to go around. So we should not be satisfied with what we have, but we should all strive for more because, hey, we're entitled to it. You are entitled to whatever it is that you want and know that there is plenty of it for you. So we should all seek to gratify our desires, our ambitions, whether it's to run faster or sell more or recruit more or whatever. we have to first realize that there's plenty to go around and that we're entitled to it. So what we have to start to do is to learn how to ask. Ask people, ask of ourselves, ask of other people, ask of the universe, what do we want? We have to know how to ask, who to ask it, and we have to learn how to ask appropriately, and we do this using the law of thinking, which we just talked about. And when we begin to think about it and learn how to ask, because we realize that there is an infinite supply, what will end up eventually occurring is that we will then begin to experience abundance in every area of our lives. As the saying goes, you have to believe it and see it before you achieve it. There will always be enough for everyone. But unfortunately, most people don't believe that. So you have to use another law we talked about, the law of belief, as well as these others, to get what we want. Now, finally, we have the last law, the law of success. Well, this entire series of laws is all been about the different laws of success. But of course, there is the ultimate law of success. And to sum it all kind of up in this law, we're all put on this planet to succeed. So everybody is capable of greatness. And of course, they're capable of that greatness through several things, through knowledge. And of course, I just went over in detail self-discipline, as well as self-discovery, finding out who you are, and what makes you tick and what's important to you is a very, very important part of this. And of course, the application of our own experiences. As we go through life, we learn things. We learn how to do things. We learn how not to do things. We learn better ways to do things. We learn not so good ways to do things. That's just how life is. The bottom line is we need to make sure that we're learning from those experiences that do not give us the results that we're looking for, so that we can make adjustments and then try it again. So, if you want to succeed, you can. You just simply have to decide it, because you already possess all that you need. The only other thing that you simply must have is an understanding of the laws, as well as the methods that need to be applied in order to succeed. And, this is as definite as any law in nature. It's as definite as any law in science. It doesn't matter if it's the law of gravity, the law of motion, any law out there exists for a reason. And this is no different. This is as definite a law as any one out there. So when we have a consistent application of this law, we believe in it wholeheartedly with faith, and we believe that these things are possible, and we have all doubt removed, it will bring about a much greater future for us. And so it's up to us to study and to plan and, of course, to take action. And every single person can achieve success beyond their wildest dreams. It's out there for the taking. We've already gone over all the other laws, the laws of supply and the law of increase. And, all these things that we've been talking about over the last few weeks is all part and parcel of the ultimate law of success.